Hey everyone. So, let's talk about something that constant feeling of being bloated, weighed down, just heavy. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, if you've ever felt sluggish for no reason you can put your finger on, we're going to dive into one really interesting idea about what's causing it, and more importantly, a super simple, natural way to deal with it. I mean, have you just kind of accepted this as your new normal? You know, that feeling of carrying around extra weight that isn't, well, it's not just fat? Or that deep down exhaustion that even a strong cup of coffee can't seem to fix? It's a really common thing, and the source material we're digging into today points to a very specific reason this might be happening to so many of us. And you've probably heard it a million times, right? Oh, that's just a normal part of getting older, feeling sluggish, having digestive issues. It's just what happens. But what if that's not the whole story? What if there's something else going on, just under the surface? Okay, so to really get the solution we're going to talk about, we have to understand the problem first. So let's talk about what's supposedly happening inside our bodies. This is all about the gut and why it's so important to this whole idea. The whole thing really hinges on this idea of our gut as our second brain. And it's not just a cute name. It's not just about, digesting your lunch. It's this incredibly complex system that's directly tied to your energy levels, your immune system, even your mood. The thinking is, if your gut is out of whack, everything feels out of whack. So here's how the theory goes, according to the source material. As we get older, especially after 50, our whole digestive system can kind of slow down. And what happens then? Well, food can end up sitting in our gut for way longer than it's supposed to. And when it just sits there, it starts to ferment. And that fermentation process, well, according to this, it releases toxins into your system. It's like this quiet internal chain reaction happening inside you. All right, so you've got this toxic buildup. What does that actually do? What are the consequences? Well, let's look at what this material says is the hidden reason you feel so tired and heavy all the time. According to this theory, that internal process is the culprit behind all those feelings we talked about. It absolutely drains your energy. It can wreck your immune system. It creates that constant nagging, heavy feeling. And yep, it's pointed to as a major reason for constipation. So the material we're looking at draws a really clear line in the sand. You've got the mainstream approach over here, which it says often relies on harsh pills and chemicals. But then you've got this natural alternative, something that's supposed to work quietly and gently with your body while you're just sleeping. And that brings us to the solution. This is that natural alternative we were just talking about. And get this, it's framed as a super simple, really powerful 2-minute ritual you can do every single night. And the recipe itself? It couldn't be easier. Seriously. Step 1, you just start with a glass of warm water. Step 2, squeeze in the juice of half a fresh lemon. And step 3, add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. The source also says you could use chia seeds instead of the oil if you want. That's literally it. Okay, but here's a super important detail, the timing. You see that number, 3. That's the key. The recommendation is to drink this right before you go to bed, but it has to be at least 3 hours after you've eaten your last meal. That 3-hour window is supposedly what lets this whole thing work its magic overnight without having to deal with any new food. All right, this is where it gets really interesting. What is this stuff actually doing while you're sound asleep? Let's break down how this cleanse is supposed to work overnight. So first up, the idea is that it starts by relaxing your intestinal muscles. It just soothes the gut, gets it ready for the cleansing process by easing up any tension or blockages in there. And once everything is relaxed, that allows the mixture to kickstart what the source calls deep digestion. And we're not talking about digesting your dinner here. This is all about firing up your body's own systems to finally break down all that old fermented gunk that's been hanging around for way too long. And the grand finale? It flushes out all that toxic waste. All that stagnant stuff is just gently but firmly cleared out of your system. It's talked about like a complete and total reset for your gut. And get this is the number that really makes you stop and think. The material claims you could flush out up to 5 pounds of this stuff. 5 pounds! I mean, no wonder people feel so heavy, right? That's a pretty wild figure. So what's the payoff for all this? The promise is that you wake up to, well, the source calls it an incredible light release. The idea is that you'll just feel noticeably lighter, you'll have more energy, and you'll just feel refreshed right from the moment you get out of bed. So there you have it. That's the breakdown of this whole nightly ritual. It's a really simple, totally natural approach to a super common problem. It's definitely a fascinating idea to think about, right? Makes you wonder.